Hello. This is another one of those unexpected and just on the spot um, things because I wanted to show you something. Now, before I start anything, let me first say that this is a live event. So if you're watching this after the live was is over, you are watching a reply. So even if you chat, it will just post as a comment. Okay, now let's go to the whole deal and I will show you what happened. Trish from Polyclay Play has sent me this. This is transparent, translucent Pardo that somebody had sent back because it was too old. If you have watched previously my tutorial on how to condition Pardo, you know that in that tutorial I actually condition Pardo that is totally fresh, and then Pardo that's like 4 or 5 years old, and then a Pardo that's 8 or 10 years old. And I will show you exactly what happened. I cannot say that I'm really unhappy because I just got some extra transparent, translucent Pardo. But just to show you how, because when I was talking about Pardo, I told you that this is how and why it did not have success on the North American market. Because when it was placed in the craft stores on the shelves, it had absolutely no information. And because of the fact that Pardo has to be conditioned very differently than the rest of the polymer clays, people thought, well, it's old clay, it's half-baked clay, it's poor quality clay, and this is why Pardo, which is, I don't know, I didn't try all the polymer clays in the world, but of everything that I have tried, it's the best clay. And it got just, thrown in the garbage. So let's see. If you have watched my tutorial on how to condition Pardo, you can instantly see what has happened here. And I have no idea who the person was, but I have to thank you. I mean, I am sorry that you didn't manage to work with this beautiful clay, but you know, it's mine now, all mine. Anyway, you can see what happened. The attempt was made to condition Pardo. I'm not entirely sure if it was attempted to be conditioned in a block. It pretty much looks like it. But obviously it didn't work because you cannot condition Pardo in a block. So this is the package. This is what was sent back. So Trish, and actually there were two more packages, and Trish sent them all to me because she was like, "Can you please check? Is this really old? Does it send it here? And I'll, even if it is a little bit older, I'll still be able to do something with it." Well, guess what? It's actually quite fresh. It's not super super fresh, but you can see it is still flexible when in package form. So let's see if we can condition this. And I am going first because I cannot work with these the way they are. And what you can do if you find something like this, and what you can do to fix things. The first thing that I'm going to do is first to get me some slices out of what is here, and I will show you how to do with this if you don't have a piece like this. So I'm going to go and try and do about 1 millimeter thick slices, and I wanted to show this on live So nobody could tell, oh, but you worked so hard and it was so hard, and how can I know you didn't skip anything and all that. So what I am doing, you can see I am cutting about 1 millimeter thick slices of this piece. Some of them are a little bit thicker than 1 millimeter, but try not to get too thick, because the thicker it is, the more chances it will crumble. If you try to condition Pardo, hi Tina, if you try to condition Pardo in a thick setting, it's going to crumble. That is a given. Now I will be using my pasta machine with the motor, because I am so fortunate that somebody got one for me and I don't have to, especially with my hand issues. But let me give you a piece of advice what I used to do before I got the motor pasta machine. I used to get my, sorry, I'm working on the tutorial that I'm going to post today, and it's just saving and doing stuff. Um, so what I used to do, I would just get my heat gun, and I would heat up the rollers, but you have to be careful not to heat them up to the point that it would bake the clay. You have to be able to hold your hand, your fingers comfortably on the rollers, and they will hold the heat for a while, and that will make conditioning even faster. You still need to cut it in thin slices. So let's see what I can do here. I'm going to still attempt to cut some thin slices out of this block, as thin as I can. And we shall condition all this Pardo, and you will see it's going to be a little noisy, but you will see how in real time, how it gets conditioned if you do it properly. Now, let me move these to the pasta machine. Okay. And I'm going to move these other ones here. And number one, I'm not going to go on the thinnest, but I'm going to go pretty much like somewhere in the middle. Okay. And I'll first take these slices. I will take separately these other ones so you can see how it can, hi Zenta, how it can be done even if you have just a block, and it can be fixed. Make sure that this goes properly. Okay, so noisy. This is thicker. It's going to crumble a bit. See? If I put two at once, just to show you the different ways. See, this is a little thicker too. So I'm not done. I'm just interrupting so you can hear me. Here I put two slices at once. And the other one was the one that was already thicker. And you saw the thicker it is, the more chances it crumbles. The thinnest it is, it will come up pretty much in one piece. Of course, it's far from conditioned. But I'm going now to put 2 by 2 these until I get a little bit of a biggish piece. And there I go. Thank you. Okay. You can see this one is almost conditioned, but I'm going to keep putting a few more just to show you how it is when it is perfectly conditioned. I'm not going to condition all of it in the live, just to show you that it was absolutely nothing wrong with this clay. All you need to know is how to, yes, you put it slice by slice. See, let me do this part so you can see how I put together the slices, and until you get what you need. So noise again, and see, these ones are thicker, so they are going to crumble more, and I might have to collect them with the already made one. So noisy. Remember that you need to warm it up. Click, click, click. Now, remember that you need to warm it up because it's got the beeswax. Especially if you have warm hands, this is the perfect, perfect, perfect. Yeah, you need to cut it in thin slices, not in bits. This is the whole thing. Your slices have to be thin, not thick. The moment you try to go thick with it, it's going to crumble. So you can see it's almost, I would go a little bit thinner with this. Now, let's go with one more issue, because as I was doing this, I was thinking, well, what about the people who actually do not have a pasta machine? How do they condition this? And let me show you how you condition this. Ideally is to have a heat gun, but if you don't have a heat gun, you can use a blow dryer. So let's get these pieces and condition them by hand, okay? So I got these, and remember what I told you. The best thing to do, of course, you need to clean your area of work. Turn this properly. You need to clean your area of work. No, it's not, but you have to remember that this one was opened and it was in you haven't been here from the beginning. Not only it was open, but somebody tried to condition it in a block, and it was in a little Ziploc bag, so we don't know for how long it was out of the package. Okay, hold on a minute. My heat gun got coiled around the wheels of the chair. I just plug it in. And I am doing this just because I have very cold hands. Okay, my hands are not warm at all. I have low blood pressure and uh, some peripheral circulation issues. So, okay. So no, the translucent is not drier than others. I mean, I can get you one of my fresh translucent packages and you can see it's the perfect. It's any Pardo will do the same. If you try to condition it thick on a thick setting, it's going to crumble to bits. You need to condition it in thin settings. And if you don't have a pasta machine, you need to warm it up because it has that beeswax component. So you need to warm up the beeswax component. So what I'm going to do is to heat up a little bit my working space. One thing that you can do is to, if you have something like this, like I have, that's a little bit elevated, you can actually heat up a ceramic tile and put it underneath and it will radiate heat through the glass. But again, you go thin. You want to go thin at all times. What, Opal? Oh, the translucent seems dry. Well, you don't know. The thing is that I have never had or ever heard about a polymer clay that is too old, that goes old or gets stale or whatever. It never does. And you can always work it back to normal. It's just that with Pardo, you don't use clay softener on it because you completely change the texture. And especially on the translucent, you might change the translucency. And that's really not something that you want. You still found Pardo at Michael's? That's amazing. I didn't know they are still carrying it. What colors did you find? Because with all the... And how much was it? How much did you pay for it? What Sculpey? Oh, you're not talking about Pardo. Oh. But yeah, if you got Sculpey 3, I'm not going to even comment on it. Sculpey 3, it's not a clay to work with. It's a clay for children. But Primo, usually the translucent is the softest of all the clays. That's why last year they had a few batches that was a little bit drier than normal. But generally the translucent is the softest. So when you have a drier clay, if you want to soften it up, you just mix a little bit of translucent. So you can see that it's already getting conditioned. Of course, it takes a little bit longer than, and you can just work it by hand as well, only that you need to warm it up. But again, never try to condition it in a block because that will not work. Oh, Fimo effects. Fimo is harder. Fimo in itself, it is a little bit firmer than other clays, unless you get Fimo soft, which is as bad as Sculpey 3, pretty much. But yeah, you can see it is pretty much conditioned. So that is the main thing with Pardo. If you ever get Pardo, Be careful how you condition it before dissing it as being a bad clay, because even with, of course, it would need to get a little bit thinner than this to work with and more conditioned. But with the pasta machine, it takes very little time to condition a full package. It's not fully conditioned, it still breaks apart. But as I said, it doesn't take long to get it conditioned. And you can do it by hand as well, not only by machine. At Polyclay Play online, it's you can buy it for cheaper than you buy Fimo in the store. Trish has absolutely fantastic prices for Pardo. And also don't forget that my hands don't work very well. So if you have good hands and are conditioning Pardo by hand, it will work much faster than what I'm doing here. But again, you can, if you don't have a heat gun, if you don't have a blow dryer, just heat it up by holding it in your hands. Some people put it in a tight, airtight container and put it in warm water. Or another thing that I used to do was to just wrap it in cling wrap and put it in my bra. That works very good. And once it gets warmed up and that beeswax starts softening, you have absolutely no problems working with it. Let's try this one, for example, and let's make a little. And the other thing that I've been telling you during my Pardo tutorials, never work abruptly with Pardo. Don't try to force it to do something very fast because it's going to break. Or if you try to put it in a mold too fast, it's going to crack. Pardo needs a lot. It's the royalty, but it's very, very delicate. So if you want to obtain beautiful things, you need to know how to work it, and you need to be, how can I say it, respectful of it. So let's make a flower petal out of this thing. And I'm going to get it real slow so it won't get upset with me. And I'm going to just gently thin it out in my hand. And let's see how thin we can go. Because that's one of the best tests to see how good your clay is conditioned. And again, don't go too fast, because it breaks if you go too fast, like I just did. Yeah, and that's why you might want to try Trish, because she's got awesome prices. The budget is my main issue too. So just going really, trying to go really slow on it and thinning it out. And remember, the translucent Pardo is opaque until it's baked and cooled. So you will not see it very transparent, but still, even so, I will show you how transparent I got it. You can see it's quite thin and transparent. So yeah, that is the main thing when conditioning Pardo. Do not fall for the mistake that it is too old or it is half baked. No, it's just a matter of knowing how to condition it. So this was it. This is what I wanted to show you. That is pretty. So I'm going to stop this here. Remember, this was a live, but you can leave the comments underneath, and you can always contact me on my Facebook page or the website. And I'm going back to work on the tutorial I'm going to post here in a little bit. Thank you for being here. Goodbye.